Good morning, and thanks for joining us here on AccuWeather Early. I'm Kristina Shalhoup. Bernie Reno, unfortunately, is out sick today, but it's Thursday, December 28th. Here's what we're covering for you this morning. Staying with us on this Thursday morning, let's get you out the door right now with a look at the national map, and you'll notice there is a big swirl in the Midwest. It's the same area of low pressure that we've been tracking for days and days and days, and this storm just doesn't want to go anywhere. It is, as Bernie so lovingly calls it, the unwanted dinner guest of the weather. It just doesn't want to leave. No matter how many hints you give, it's just staying put, and that means cities like St. Louis, you've seen some snowfall as a result. Back to Kansas City, a bit of a dreary day, and even Chicago, you're getting kind of that mushy, wintry mix as we wake up on this Thursday. Further to the east, along the northeast coast here, we are looking at another area of low pressure, driving some rainfall back across the region. New England, you're seeing the brunt of that rain today, but you're also seeing temperatures that are considerably more mild than where we would. Watches and warnings for millions of people this morning. Now, the heaviest rainfall is in New England, as we mentioned, and it could result in some localized flash flooding. So please make sure you're being careful heading out the door. Now, the Thursday morning rush has been slowed because of the soaking rain and lingering runoff, and even into the afternoon we'll see some problems as well. Let's take you live to Boston this morning. We finally got a little bit of a break along the Charles. I can't say the same today. But let's head down to Philadelphia for a second. I do want to take you into your rainfall totals from the last 24 hours. So it's been really soggy into eastern Pennsylvania, and unfortunately, as we take a look across New England, it's more of the same today. Here's a look at that rain starting to push up the coast. Looking at cities back like Danbury, for example, even Hartford, you're losing the worst of it right now. But unfortunately, north, which means the rain lingers further north a little bit longer. Now, on the backside of this system, there's still some lingering moisture on Friday, especially with another area of low pressure centered off to the west. It's helping to drive a couple extra showers, but overall, I would say Friday is a better day than what we're seeing today across New England. Now, in terms of temperature, tomorrow, though, things start to change. You'll notice all the blue on the map here behind me. This is a look at the upper air and the temperatures in correspondence with the color. The more, let's say, bright the blue, the colder air that we're seeing here. So this big aqua blob all over the northeast represents some much colder air coming in. Now, it's not much colder compared to the historical averages, but it is compared to what we've seen the last few days. Temperatures have been really mild, but that air takes its time depending on where you live. So, for example, the bottom kind of falls out. More in the way of snow back to the northern tier of Pennsylvania and across the I-90 corridor of New York, heading back towards cities like Binghamton. Even into the Allegheny Mountain Range, not just in Pennsylvania, but heading all the way down into West Virginia. We are going to see much more in the way of snowfall rather than anything else, which is great news for the skiers and snowboarders out there. You're going to be, I would say, a fan of what comes, seeing fewer clouds and fewer raindrops as we head through the weekend. In Pittsburgh, I could say more of the same. Again, snow and rain showers on really Saturday more than Sunday. Sunday being New Year's Eve. All right, folks, let's take you outside. Story number one. West Coast, wet coast. I know everyone likes to think it's the best coast, but today wet is the name of the game. And you'll notice across Washington and Oregon, yeah, there is a story number two. Let's talk about what's happening in the Midwest with a little taste of winter. We have this big upper low. I always think of Bernie when I say that. He loves to use that phrase. I mean, it's meteorological. Makes sense. By the way, Bernie had to do this last week when he had the show to all of himself, and I'm just saying, it's not the worst. Bernie, I hope you heard that. Just kidding. I do miss my partner in crime. Let's talk about ringing in the new year. 'Tis the season, my friends, and I love to see how creative cities can get in terms of their New Year's, well, drops, we'll call them. The moon. Things are actually looking pretty okay. Now, Dallas, you're good. Denver, you're good. Atlanta, you're good. Chicago, New York, that's where things get a little bit